Okay, so today we will start from lesson one, and this will be our day one. Today we will be starting from very basic functions and very basic 20 functions. So you might have used some of these functions, but most of them you will remember when you are using it. Some of the functions you see here, you might have used in your office day-to-day life or might have heard about it. But now today we will see in detailed manner. Now see here, there are multiple functions available here. Today now pi, row, column, rand, sum, max, min, upper, lower, and proper. So these all are 20 basic functions which we are going to see today. So let's move ahead. So these six functions specifically today now pi, row, column, and rand functions. These are known as functions without a reference. The reason is these functions do not have any references. We will see here right now. So what today function does it? As you can see here, it will give you today's date. If you want, we will type how to input this, how we are going to use the formulas and functions in Excel. We have to start with equals to symbol. Okay. So equals to, now we will use today in small letters TODAY, parenthesis start and close. So we started a parenthesis and closed it. Okay. Now we will put enter. You see here it is giving today's date. Let me change the format from here. So let me just change it from here. Okay, done. So you see here 22nd April 2026. It is showing me today's exact date. And every time, whenever I will be updating in this sheet, it will change the today's date automatically. Now, suppose if I want today's date and time both, then I will use now function now parenthesis start and close enter. Now you see here it is giving me today's date and time in hours and minutes. If you want, we can change the date and time here. You see here. Let me just give you a custom date and time. DDMMYYHHMM AM/PM. Now, you see here, we are getting today's date and time, and it is also showing AM or PM here. Now, pi function is a mathematical function. Its value is 22 by 7. If you divide it, and then you will get 3.14. So people who are using mathematical functions, they can get this pi value directly by typing pi, parenthesis start and close, enter. You will get the exact value of pi. Then row column gives you the row number of the selected cell. So right now I have selected this cell. Now this cell I have selected. Suppose I am selecting this cell. I want row or what exactly is the row number of this cell. How I will know? I will use the row function row parenthesis start and close click. Fifth row it is showing, which is true. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay. Now the column function is also same. It will return the column number of the selected cell. So you see here columns A, B, C. So it will return me the column number here, COLUMN, parenthesis start and close, enter. So it is giving me 3. Yes, which is true. A, B, C. C is the third column. Now we will use the rand function. What rand function does it will give you any random number between 0 to 1. Okay. I'll start the parenthesis and close it. Now I will close the function. It is giving me 0.24. So this is a random number which is from 0 to 1. Sometimes it is used uh, when you are generating a random number and you need some randomized number in a decimal value. There, there we use this rand function. You will get to know that yes, uh, there are multiple types and usages of these random function when we are creating any salary or dummy data. That time we are basically using this. Now we will move to Randbetween function. This is another function. So in Randbetween, what does it? It will give you a random number between any two numbers which you are giving. So let me just give it a rand between bracket start, and let me just take it from 10 to 50. Okay, bracket close, enter. So it is giving me 41. Now this is a random number. You can take any random numbers between any two numbers. Okay, let me just give you one example of this, how we create and what can we use. So suppose if we want to create a salary dummy data we are working upon, and also we are working on a uh, basically financial data, and we need to do the calculations, but we do not have any access to the actual salary of the employees, and the finance team is telling me is you create yourself a random dummy data. So what we will do, we will use the random numbers. Okay, I will use the rand between function, and then I'll give you, let's suppose every person should have the basic minimum salary of 15,000 to, let's say, 90,000. Okay, enter. So I'm taking any random numbers. Okay, every time I'm refreshing it, so you can see here the values are changing. Okay, now suppose if I want the number in decimal also, what I will use it rand, bracket start and close, then I'll drag it down here, and you can see we have got two numbers. Now if I want, I can directly get the salary part, but if I combine these two, this one plus this one, I am getting a good random salary in decimals, which can make my calculation legitimize. So in this manner, you can use rand and rand between as per your requirements. Okay, this was a random data creation. Let me take you to some basic mathematical functions. Most of this you might have used, I'm sure about it. Let's suppose, let me take some numbers here, 10, 13, 16, any numbers. Okay, let's say these are just numbers. Okay, so summation, suppose if they in a column I have, or in a row you have numbers which you need to do summation of. What you can do is you can use the sum function, select the whole array, bracket close, enter. It will give you the summation of all these numbers. Now suppose you want to get a maximum out of the all numbers, then you will use the max function, select all the data, then bracket close, enter. you will get the maximum number. Similarly, equals to minimum number, we will use min function, then we will choose the data, we will get the minimum number. So let's suppose this is the data and the array is like this. Okay, let's change some numbers here. 12, 11, 15, 17. And suppose if you want to now do a minimum function, min minimum, and now I'm choosing this whole array. So it will give me the minimum value among all the data part. Okay. Now in the average, if I want to do an average of this E column, then what I will do, I will use the average function. Okay. And I will select the data, bracket close. It will give me the average 13. In the product function, it will just simply multiply the function. I'm using the product. Now I'm selecting the two data. Let's suppose I'm selecting these two numbers, closing the parenthesis, and it is giving me the product of these numbers. Okay, so you see here very quick overview. So you see here all the numbers are automatically aligned towards the right side of the cells. Why is it so? The Excel has this format or that all the numbers will be in the right side of the cell and all the alphabets or text values will be aligned in the left side of the cells. Let me show you here. If I'm expanding this, you see here numbers is in the left side, inclined towards the left side of the cell, and all the numbers are towards the right side of the cell. Okay. Moving forward, we have three very good functions. Suppose you have a data here, a random data. There is some alphabet, some text values, some numerical, and some special characters or spaces. Okay, so you see here 12, KUN, 89, and here let's suppose I'm not having anything. I am putting two spaces, 1, 2, enter. Okay, and here I am deleting this. What does these functions do? Count functions basically, it will count all the numbers in your data. So it is counting all the numbers. There are two numbers only, 12 and 89. Now if I want to count all the non-empty cells, then what I will use count A. COUNT, count A. It means count all. Now I am selecting the data. You see here 5. How? 1, 2, 3. Here I have put two spaces, 4, and G is 5. So it is showing 5. Now count blank will count all the blank cells in the data. Now I will choose my data. It will tell me how many blank cells are there. Suppose if I delete this, it will be giving me 2. Okay. Now let me move to another function. Okay. So these are rows and columns functions. So suppose you have a good data. Okay. Now you see here 3 columns and many rows are there. Now suppose if I want to count how many number of rows are there in my data, this is a very small data. Suppose you are working on a very big data and you need to formulate a very big formula. So for that you will need the number of rows and columns. How you will do? Row function and column function you cannot use. Why? Because row function will give you the exact value of the cell which is selected, and column is also giving you the selected cells column number. But here you need number of columns and number of rows. So here we will use rows and columns function. Just one minor change s. In the row, we are adding an s. Okay. ROW rows function. Then I'm selecting the array, the whole data, and enter. It is giving me 10. 10 rows are there in my whole data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, correct. There are total 10 rows. Now I will use the column function. Columns function. Okay, now I'm selecting my data here, pressing enter. 3, true. D, E, F. There are three columns of the whole data. So this is how rows and column functions work. Okay, so while working on Excel sheets, you might have encountered this type of problem many a times. Now what happens? Key suppose this is the name type of name which, yeah, the HR team, or let's suppose any finance team have given you. Now what happens? They have given you names, but the names are not in format. Kundan is written properly, but Ashish, you see the S and H. These two alphabets are written in caps lock. Then in Singh G is capital. So you see unstructured data is there. Okay, very clearly. Now what I want is suppose sometimes, mostly in financial banking data, all the text is written in the complete caps lock. So suppose if I want my data to be written in completely caps lock in uppercase, what I'll do, I'll use the upper function. Okay, then I will choose this cell as an argument inside the cell. Then closing the bracket, enter. Now it is giving me in caps lock. Now I will drag it. It will give me the all the names in the caps lock. Similarly, I'll use the lower function, bracket start. I'll choose this data, enter. So it is giving me my name in small case. But sometimes, most of the time, basically in HR data or finance data, the names should be in such a manner that K should be capital and other all the alphabet should be in smaller case. So what I will do, I'll use the proper function. Okay, choose the text value, pressing enter. Now my name is in the proper format. Okay, so this is the complete, very basic 20 functions. And now how you are going to do the practice? You have to write down the functions, then you will write down the syntax like this. You just have to put an space before the formula, otherwise it will directly be seen as a function and the Excel will calculate it. Okay, so you will write syntax, then you will do the execution by applying the formula here, and in the last you will write down in your own words the explanation part of the function. So I have written it for my reference, but you will write it in your own language when you are making the notes so that you can remember it in future. Okay, that's all for today's class. Bye bye. Let's meet tomorrow.